Microsoft, Xbox fans, what the hell is happening here? How have you released Crackdown 3 in 2019 and made it look subpar to a game released in 2014? Because yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is what I'm going to be doing here today. I'm going to be comparing inFAMOUS Second Son to Crackdown 3. Now, I'm not going to be comparing a story because who cares about story, stuff like that is quite subjective, so one person's great tale could be another person's trash, so I'm only going to be comparing the technical aspects. I'm going to be comparing the combat systems, the free roam, and art style / graphics. Let it be known, I don't think that Crackdown 3 is a bad game. It's not a bad game, it's just average. And there's nothing wrong with games being average. It's just, this game has been hyped to high heaven, and now it's time to reap what you guys sow. And people are making excuses now, saying things like fun outranks polish and stuff like that is just insane to me. Let's just get to the video. Alright, so boom, look at this. This is your typical Crackdown 3 experience. You'll be driving around or traversing through the world, and then you'll just see an outpost where you have to essentially set free. And it'll just be a whole bunch of enemies there that are only there to take up space, basically. And there's nothing wrong with that mechanically. I'm just saying, in terms of actually the combat, the minute-to-minute gameplay, it just looks so average. The shooting isn't bad, but the weapons just don't really feel like they have that much punch to them. Everything just looks so standard of fare. Like, the bullets are just flying off, and the impact isn't really... It doesn't feel like there's any oomph to it. It's just bam, 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 bam. And that's great, I guess, if that's what you're into. But you can't then bring this up in a conversation of good shooters. You just absolutely cannot. And why is this dude up there? Like, what is that platform? Like, that's a platform for just having a platform there. This isn't Sonic. This isn't Mario. Like, what is that? And on top of it, I personally am watching this clip and I'm just not impressed. Like, this is what I'd expect to see in like a Saints Row game, a Agents of Mayhem game, games that have come and gone. You can't do this in 2019 and expect high praise. And once again, I'm not saying that this is particularly bad. It's not bad, it's just standard affair. Cool, this is what's happening and there's nothing wrong with it, but there isn't anything to write home about either. And I guess it just is what it is. Okay, so now we have inFAMOUS 2. This is your standard affair in inFAMOUS 2. You'll find an outpost while free roaming and you have to take it down just like in Crackdown 3. Except here, as you just saw, he leaves an ally to distract everyone up top and he's gone in stealth wise. He doesn't have to go in all guns blazing. These are just the skills at his disposal. And then wiki boom! All of a sudden out of nowhere, he drops an ultimate and now he's doing this. Like, just look at the effects. Just look at the skills at his disposal. And okay, boom, everyone's now dead. What next? What's he going to do next? But that's the problem, and also that's also the gift. You can think to yourself, all the skills that I have in this game, how can I chain them? How can I use them all together so that I can string powerful attacks to defeat, for example, a helicopter? Which I know you see them wings. I know you like how them wings is looking. They're popping straight from the back. This, by the way, is Delsin's video powers. That helicopter never even had a chance, but it's all good. This, like I was saying, this is genuinely what it's like playing inFAMOUS. As soon as you see enemies, you can, depending on the powers you have, boom, what, you're trying to surrender? None of that. We're here to subdue you. But there you go, just a standard affair inFAMOUS gameplay. Okay, after watching both, I know you guys are probably thinking, oh, this guy must be such a big PlayStation fanboy. But genuinely, I have no idea how you can look at both snippets of gameplay and think to yourself, Crackdown even holds a wig to inFAMOUS Second Son's gameplay. Like, you can't. Like, the combat mechanics in inFAMOUS are just so much deeper. There's just so much more nuance to it. There's so much more potential in minute-to-minute gameplay. And that's not even to mention the fact that I didn't even show you guys the multiple different powers at Delsin's disposal. Powers that he could go into this battle thinking, I'm going to do all guns blazing, or I'm going to go in stealthy, or I'm just going to go in with a mix of both. I'm sorry, but there's just no competition here. inFAMOUS takes the cake. Okay, here we go. Now, if there's one thing that I will admit is that Crackdown's movement mechanics are probably its best feature, but even when you look at the movement, it's all right. Like it's not really anything special, but people keep raving and ranting about it. Yeah, you can do a double jump and a double thrust forward, but I mean, does this really look that impressive? I mean, yeah, you can clear large distances, but really they're just the same animations, and the animations aren't really that impressive. They're just, yeah, I keep saying it, but genuinely it just all looks so standard affair. Like it just looks decent. It's what you'd low-key kind of expect. And the reason I'm showing races is because I feel like the races encompass the traversal system best, because you need to fine-tune how you move so that you can, you know, clear the checkpoints and win the races. But honestly, just look at this. Like, what is this? Are you impressed by this? Because if you are, please let me know, because I'm not trying to troll. I'm really not trying to take the piss out of this game either. I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with the game being average, and this game is very much so that. It's just average. Double jump. We've had double jump since I don't even know how long. There's nothing impressive about how the game's double jumps look. I think that's what I'm trying to get across here. There's nothing about its burst forward from a double jump that looks impressive. I don't know if that makes sense, but I sincerely hope it does. But yeah, like, yeah, I guess that's just it, really. Nothing to it. But I will say this, that it does offer you the chance to, you know, apart from using your double jump ability and your on foot traversal, it does allow you to do, you know, use cars. I don't personally see why you'd need to use cars if you have the ability to run around and to jump over buildings. It's the same thing I found with like Assassin's Creed and games like Saints Row. If I can run at like 1,000,000 miles per hour, why would I drive a car at 30 miles per hour? It doesn't make any sense to me. But the driving mechanics look standard affair. I mean, some reviewers say that the driving looks a bit, you know, slow, but hey, it is what it is. Now for inFAMOUS. Look at that. Straight from the get-go, he's decided to take on smoke powers, so he's switching his abilities up. Now, climbing buildings in any game is a really long thing, but here we have these tunnels, these vents that take you straight up, just to bypass the whole climbing grind. Just for extra, just a little piece of extra convenience for you. Now, stationed on top of buildings, you'll find aerials and antennas that can give you the ability to siphon off video. And video is one of the powers and abilities Delsin has, and the game just allows traversal to be so much more seamless and so much more convenient for the user. I don't understand how anyone can look at this and not see that smoke, although powerful, video giving you these wings just allow you to move across the world so much more effortlessly, so much faster. And at the end of the day, it's all about convenience. Getting from mission A to mission B, getting from point A to point B in our open world is always a grind, and if you can make that easier for the player, that's always appreciated. So yeah, here you go. I mentioned earlier that there's powers in this game, and it's not only just video and smoke, but I'm also going to be showing you all 4 of the powers that's in these games: video, neon, as well as concrete. And of course, you guys should be able to look at this and just tell yourself this is so much more convenient than using the jump and double jump ability in Crackdown. And here you go, here's the concrete ability, and concrete has its own animations too. Like you have this sprint that you're showing off here. Like, look at the animations, look at the gliding. Even when he was gliding in using video, he had all those particle effects that showed this little distortion and this little glitch effect. That's, you know, that I appreciate personally. And now when he's using his concrete powers to move around the world, he has this concrete that he floats on around his arms, around his legs. And look, even during battle, his powers switch. He has different moves at his disposal, and just the little pieces of effort there in terms of animation is just so much more appreciated. How is this not easy and clear for all to see? Even when you land, there's so much more weight. There's so much more weight to the player to Delson, and here we go. Now he's using the infamous, the no pun intended, the amazing neon powers. Now the neon powers are, I've personally always loved these powers because it leaves this trail behind Delson where you can see the individual animations, the different steps he takes to be in the position he is at front. Look how much more convenient this is. Look how much more impressive. Look how much more not customized, not necessarily that the gameplay is customizable, but you can tailor how you want to move around the world. Like right there, he could have decided he wanted to take video instead of neon. I included this just so you can see what a ground pound looks like in Infamous in comparison to Crackdown. Here we go. This is street level. Even at street level, this game is so convenient to run through. No need for a car. Personally, to me, I just look at the particle effects. Like, it's so beautiful. Both games, by the way, run at 4K. PlayStation Infamous just uses checkerboarded, whereas Crackdown 3 uses a unlocked frame rate and resolution. Look at these protesters. Get out of here. But look at that. How is this not just beautiful to behold? Seriously. Like, you have to be able to look at this and say to yourself, you know what? Even though, don't get it twisted, one of the issues I seem to think I have actually with Infamous is I feel like the jumping is slightly too floaty for my liking. And sometimes it feels not as, it's not going to stick. But even then, it's just such an impressive movement ability. And the movement mechanics in this game just, they're just impressive. That's what it all boils down to. Are you impressed by this or not? And I just have to say, I am. Both games try to take two different approaches to their free roaming and movement mechanics. One tries to give you a more precise system of collecting orbs to build your abilities and make you more agile, which is certainly appreciated and a smart mechanic to have in the game. Whereas the other tries to empower you as a superhero and actually make you feel like one, offering you multiple superpowers, each with varying degrees of strength and remixing abilities, allowing you to traverse this world at your leisure in a very customizable way. I might prefer a certain ability that you might not, but I might prefer it for a completely different reason that you might not have foreseen. And stuff like that, just the in between animations, it's just, I don't see how you can look at both games side by side and say to yourself that Crackdown's movement system is better than Infamous's. I just can't see it. Now, graphics. Crackdown has certainly faced quite a lot of criticism for its a few showings at the last few E3s. However, it's definitely no slouch in the graphics department. It is a pretty looking game. It's just not an impressive one. The textures all look flat. The geometry on the buildings has definitely been downgraded and simplified. For whatever reason, we don't know. However, it's not an impressive looking game. It's not an ugly game. Once again, it just looks kind of generic, in a generic Blade Runner kind of way. It looks like if IKEA built flat pack buildings and just built buildings absolutely everywhere. It's just not impressive to look at. Although this cutscene that I'm showing you, which is in game, definitely, it's, the facial animations are amazing, and Terry Crews getting down, you have to love that. It's definitely a great showcase of what this game could have looked like in throughout the whole game. However, I guess they just wanted to go for a different look. The animations are great. I love that little ending there. Terry Crews is definitely just badass. I just don't understand why there was such a change in the art style. Right out the gate, Infamous's facial animations have definitely aged. You can tell that this game came out a few years ago. But even that being said, the performance capture is still really well done. The texture work is great. Look at Delson's jacket. Look at Seattle. Look at the colors. Look how everything just blends together so well. But the one thing I will say that this game has heads and shoulders above Crackdown, and to be honest with you, 99% of games that have released since this game has come out is its particle system. The particle effects in this game and the alphas in this game are amazing, from the neon to the smoke effects to the concrete, even to the video glitch effects. inFAMOUS's particle system cannot be beaten, and Crackdown certainly isn't the game to do that either. To conclude, I want to repeat myself. Crackdown isn't a bad game. It's just average. This isn't one of those doom and gloom videos where the sky's falling down and the rug is being pulled from under Xbox's feet. I want to reiterate, this is not a bad game, and Microsoft have made great strides in what appears to be trying to correct this quote-unquote problem with the first-party games through their purchases of studios, the implementation of Play Anywhere, Game Pass. These are great decisions and great business purchases. The Ninja Theory purchase specifically, I think, is of great value to Microsoft, with games like Hellblade, DMC, Enslaved, Heavenly Sword. You clearly know that this studio is used to working on high profile AAA games. Whether or not you like the games or not is irrelevant, because the truth is the quality that they bring forward to you in these games is undeniable. And with games like Gears 5, Halo Infinite, all dropping day and date on Game Pass, it's just a great time to be an Xbox player looking forward. Now, I don't think that helps you in the here and now, but at least you know things are coming. Especially with Crackdown, I feel like Microsoft just knew they needed to get this game out just so that they can end this whole meme of what Crackdown has become. And hopefully Crackdown will be that monumental moment we look back on in about 5 years, where there's going to be a pre-Crackdown and post-Crackdown Xbox, where pre-Crackdown you had games that were releasing like Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2 just for release. Maybe they will become great one day, we don't know, but right now these games are, serviceable games. But post-Crackdown, hopefully every game that's releasing now is of a certain quality that you have to admire and just acknowledge that this was the turning point that Xbox needed to compete on a level with Sony and Nintendo on a first party basis. Something that Xbox hasn't really done in a very long time, if I'm not aware of certain games or a run of time that they've kept releasing these high quality AAA games. And I genuinely believe this is on the cards. Microsoft have made the decisions, the business decisions, as well as they have the money, they have the infrastructure to really create something and make and build something that can last and stand the test of time. But to all those Xbox fans, there really isn't any need to damage control this game, because even now that Crackdown has finally launched, you guys are admitting Crackdown's never been a AAA game, and the game is sitting on a 59 on Metacritic, and to be honest, that's exactly where it belongs, because the game is so mediocre. It's just an average game, which once again isn't a bad thing. It just is what it is. But some of you keep talking about reviewers being wrong and how this game is fun. But what you guys seem to keep misunderstanding is that even if a game is fun, that doesn't equate to quality. You can have fun with a bag of rocks, but that doesn't make it the best game ever.